guys, I'm on the highway here, just driving down through, and I want to give just a quick little video here. You know, what ended up getting me into this silver thing. I mean, I have learned a lot throughout the years of doing this, and it's been a great journey, but just getting into buying silver, being able to buy a little bit here and there. Looking back, it was kind of like, I'm buying $20, $50. It was a lot of, of that side money. Then you start seeing that stack grow, and it ends up being just a great thing. Now that I'm 12 years into this buying, ends up getting, thousands of ounces that you're able to acquire. It's just now looking back, it's a peace of mind. You have thousands of dollars that you've been able to save, and it was something that was able to be collected at small increments when you had a little bit of extra money, instead of going and wasting it at the bar, or going and wasting on something that you didn't need. It ended up giving you a little bit of extra that you were able to throw at something that was preserving wealth and being able to get you to move farther down that line of freedom, and being able to be a little bit more prepared. I mean, you start with a couple bucks, being able to get a week's worth of extra money, then we're trying for a month's worth of extra money. Then now, as you're saving, you're trying to put a little bit of it there for capital appreciation later on down. So it's a neat experience to be able to do it. After 10 years plus, you start going, $40 a week adding up. Then you start buying larger quantities. You start looking at, it's higher right now. Maybe it's, you should still be buying. You're not getting as much. It kind of gets a little bit depressing. Buying and selling the collections throughout, and then I kind of made it as a hobby business that got me into it, watching it a little bit more closely. And then as we're going through, we're buying collections with keeping certain pieces of it, and then being able to actually sell parts that we are not interested in keeping as much. And then 10 years later, you have a little bit of 90%, you have a little bit of 999, you have bars, you have hand poured, you have some antique hand pours, or you just have cool stuff, and then you get to pick what you want and what you don't want to be able to do. Also, you get to see some ups and downs in the market. I've started and I was seeing prices in the 18s and $20 an ounce for silver, and then on the other side of it, right now, a month ago, we had one of the major drops. We were at $16, $17, and now we are down in the $14 range. And at that point, it's like, if you're buying it to turn around and sell it, you're buying it and it's losing value as you're going through it, and then you got to be able to try to keep up with buying it cheaper and always being able to time the markets. And everybody wants to make you offers of ridiculous numbers. A good portion of most of the sellers like this probably go through eBay or through other avenues as they're building up and getting that name recognition. And I've heard a couple people talking about just always having to start selling something so that you have an outlet, and you have the trust in the market to be able to have buyers that are routinely going through. And we build that over time using the marketplace like eBay. That's where you put it in and you have people that can make offers. I have people that are making offers of $5 and $6 an ounce, and they got to be ridiculous to be able to think people are actually going to be stupid enough to sell it that way. And you got to turn business away when people aren't being fair in the world, and that's where longevity in the business ends up getting you, that you can weather some of those storms because you've preserved assets throughout the years of putting it aside And sometimes you go with less sales, and sometimes you end up going with, when silver goes crazy, people think they need to get in before it goes, and you have people buying on both ends of the spectrum. A lot of times people end up buying silver at a high point and they're holding the bag rather than being in a profit zone to be able to sell it. So we're always trying to buy it a little lower. It tends to be when we have a down market like this that everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to sell, and then you have these, premiums or fictitious premiums or whatever. As I go, it's just people seem to add premiums onto it because they bought it a little higher, so they add their own premiums. But there are premiums. I mean, a melt value versus something that has a little bit of numismatic, even if it's not really a numismatic coin. Something that's 90%, it might melt at, call it $15 per dollar, and then there is a premium. Maybe it's $15.10, maybe it's $15.20 for the same thing. Being that spots at $14.60-ish in this time frame, a lot of times people are able to try to buy it around that $12, which is most of your stores retail are doing right around that $12 to $12.50 mark. If people don't have a better avenue and better connection, that's what they're going to end up being able to buy it at. And sometimes we'll be able to pass it around, but right now we're exporting most of the silver out of the country. We're robbing from our own natural resources. As we're a citizen, we're end up holding some assets too that give the country itself value. And when people sell it too cheaply, or they sell it to the highest bidder, sometimes it actually goes out of the country, and we retain that back. We can preserve some of the internal wealth of America. And then on the other side, if we're exporting it out, we're going to pay a hefty premium when we actually need to get that stuff back in to the country. And we're on the point now, even with the premiums on the $5% strengthening of the dollar approximately, that made all commodities. I mean, your oil, your food, your gas, all that stuff is going to go down in the short term. And it's going to end up creating a very hard market for people to bring stuff in, which the American people always look for the cheapest item, and we probably all do. We're not always buying the best thing. We're buying something that's going to get the job done, and sometimes we're looking at reviews and going through buying something a little better is going to last us a lot longer. But we've built this over probably since the 60s when we went off the gold and silver standard. We've started exporting all that and being able to import stuff in. We've exported our jobs out, so there's no manufacturing in America like there used to be, and bringing that back in from farther realms of international trade. It's making the commodity market a little bit unstable, and that's what we're in. We're in the commodity market. We're stacking silver to be able to move forward on preserving our family wealth and being able to make a legacy that way there. For most people, that's kind of the goal of what we're doing. Silver keeps up with the cost of inflation, so even 100 years later, the buying and purchasing power of metals and golds tends to be on point with where it's supposed to be, rather than making huge amounts of money, because it stays with the price of what things actually have true value to, or intrinsic value. So I hope this is kind of just a fun way to get to know me, get to know how some of this stuff all goes together. On the short road trip, it gives me some time just to kind of enjoy the scenery at a slow-paced drive and be able to just kind of get some thoughts out there. There's so many different viewpoints on it. This is just kind of grasping the surface of how this is. I've done some videos on why we buy silver. We're buying it to be able to put a little bit of savings away, keep up with the inflation, try to put some inheritance away for kids' descendants. I mean, I had a baby recently, and that's been a life-changing thing. I mean, you guys that have followed me see that on my Instagram, see it on my YouTube channel. He, is what we finally realized what we're going for, is we're putting something away for us and having that family note. So it's just a great experience to be able to go through that, and that's going to be something that I'm going to try to incorporate through there the next couple of years and videos. So if you guys have some comments, let me see what you guys are thinking, and I'd like to start a discussion, maybe do one of these vlogs here from time to time, just to kind of get some free thought project going, and look forward to being able to grow this channel. We got a lot of new subscribers recently, and I'd like to keep this going. I'd like to try to get more videos out there, but I want to put videos and content of what you guys want to hear and see. And as always, I'm always buying collections. I'm always selling collections and selling things through the website. I have been locking in some better sources, so I hope to be able to put some better deals out there for the ones that are following me. If you followed this long in the video, I hope you also checked out some of my other videos and my giveaway with the silver. Comments are always strong things to be able to help this channel grow, and I enjoy everybody that's following me and watching through, and hopefully this kind of shows you what some of the goals are about it. So check out. Thanks a lot. Awesome. Have a good day.
Wow.